Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and of course, our most welcome guests, Cindy, Hamza, and Caitlin. Please close your eyes. Close your eyes and think about a leader who inspired you in your own life. I want you to come up with that one word about that leader that describes that leader and how he or she touched your heart or mind. Open your eyes. Can you just share that word with me? Any word?
Resilient.
Resilient.
Caring.
Caring.
Supportive.
Supportive.
Loving.
Loving. And many words. Today, I'm just going to talk about leadership and service. And for that, we are going to start first by defining what is a leader. For me, a leader who, with his action, inspire us to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more. And when you think about supportive, it's there. Loving, it's there. All these words are within that leader. That's the why we aspire to be leaders. Why? Because we want help, all of us. We need someone to uplift our spirits, to help us achieve things we don't believe ourselves can achieve. So that's what's the why behind leadership. But before I dig deep, I want us to talk about that concept. There is that fight all the time. If you go to Twitter or Facebook and you just put manager and leader, you'll see all these comparisons. They try to portray that manager is a bad person and leader is the best person. And as such, we all need to be leaders and ignore management. In reality, I'm a director. I've been before a senior manager and before a manager. What I've learned is that you need a combination of management and leadership. What does that mean? When you approach technology, for instance, you don't use leadership, you use management. You use financial management, you use cost management, time management. But when you approach people, we all know what is the best way to approach people. Leadership. Because leadership inspires people, finds the best in them that's hidden. So by now you know what you need in life is a combination of management and leadership. But when it comes with people, I urge you to use leadership. So we talked about the why. Let's go and dig deep now and talk about what do great leaders do? What are those key themes about the great leaders? There is a book called The Leadership Challenge. The Leadership Challenge talks about 5 themes about a great leadership. And these are, first, model the way. Second, inspire a shared vision. Third, challenge the process. Enable others to act and encourage the heart. I want to stop at every one of them and reflect on that. The first one, being a role model. Have you ever seen a leader who's telling you to do something and him or herself are doing the opposite? There is no credibility. Credibility starts by you being a role model. You walk the talk. Very important. The next one, what distinguishes a leader from other people, they see the future. They see the leader within you, and they bring that leader up. Inspire a shared vision. The third one is that leaders all the time are on the lookout for what? How can you be creative? You be creative by challenging the process and trying to do things differently. After all, the whole world is changing. So you need to find doing things in a different way. The fourth one, and the most important one, which I heard a lot from Derek supporting, is enable others to act, uplift their spirits, find their strengths and their weaknesses, focus on their strengths, complement their weaknesses. And the most important thing at the end, as I heard from Hamza, loving, encourage the heart, recognize their accomplishment and their small wins. Now we talked about the why, and we talked about the what. Let's now talk about service and leadership. Another two controversial words. You might say, how can I be a leader while serving others? Sort of they are contradicting. Like leader is the one who tells others what to do. By now we know that's sort of the manager. So how both service and leadership come together? If you remember the first trait of leadership that we talked about, which is being a role model. How can you be a role model? Service is first, you need to walk the talk. So for instance, if you are a Toastmaster, if you are a new Toastmaster, for instance, you need first to learn the ropes and then you can serve others. Before you become a president or an officer, you join the club. You learn what all Toastmaster is about and then you start serving. Once you start serving, you become leadership. I argue that service is a core component of leadership. It will allow you to understand how to lead others, and above all, demonstrates that you are a role model. Now I want you to think about these servant leaders. You can see Mahatma Gandhi, and by now you know, he served his country. He was a role model. Nelson Mandela, Malala. Why I put Malala in this list? Because leadership is in everyone. Does not understand leadership your age or your color or your gender. We see women, we see black men, and we see young people. Why go international? Why don't we just go local? And start looking at Derek. He participated as an officer, and not any officer. He is participating as president. And then let's start opening the loop. What about the leader of all our young children? Fred was just talking to Hamza about a new club that he's starting here. Servant leader. What about Andy, who is now an area director? What about Keith, who stepped up big time and organized a complete area contest, not a club contest, an area contest? What about Len, who used to be last year our president and continues to provide support to all of us? And this year she is a VP Ed. But above all, what about all these individuals who dedicate their time and energy to volunteer in our community? Jeff and Charles. They are leaders. They serve us. Now we know why service and leadership, they are faces to the same coin. I saw some inspiration now. I want to share with you some facts. They are related to service. Before you go and serve others, you need to have read The Fred Factor. The Fred Factor is a book. Fred is actually a postman. And this book is all about him. It's all about an ordinary person doing extraordinary things. All principles are four. But the most important one is the first one. You need to be convinced that every one of you here has a potential and can add value. Everyone makes a difference. You need to believe it first. And once you believe that, you need to bring all these collective people together in a teamwork, because you realize that the teamwork is much more powerful than the individual efforts. And then you can start adding more value and start looking after yourself. Key things, two things, remember, everyone makes a difference. And the second one, we need to come together in order for us to deliver exceptional outcomes. And now, Martin Luther King, everybody can be great for the simple reason anybody can serve. Remember that. Now you might say, Bashar, can you give me examples of service opportunity, which we already heard some of them here. The first one is to participate in our meetings and take a leading role. It might be a Toastmaster, it might be a general evaluator, it might be as simple as Karen now, she's going to be my speech evaluator and she's going to give me a high five for me mentioning her. How about participate with our club as a club officer? This is a higher calling than just being at a club level. How about mentoring Approach Fred? He is the leader of our mentoring program and mentor someone around him. And organize and assist an event. Reach out to other clubs and help out with them. Some of us are already doing that. Volunteer in our community. Don't restrict yourself to Toastmasters. Reach out. And when you do your service and they ask you, where did you learn that? Tell them, Toastmasters created a magic for me, transformed me. Now I want you to leave you with this, because most of the time I have this question, what's in it for me? So I'm going to serve Jeff or Scott, but what's in it for me? What's in it for you is that when you start serving others, you yourself, you will discover that you are helping yourself first. When we seek to discover the best in others, we somehow bring out the best in ourselves. So the magic that we are trying to bring in others is going to pay back for you yourself, and you are going to be the new magician. Mr. Toastmaster.
Great job. Could we have 1 minute